All right. Welcome to the Way to a Great Marriage cast. I'm Tony. This is Loranda, and we
Hey.
have Katie and Annabelle. And
Yes.
so I want to turn it over quickly to Miss Loranda. She has one of Omi's songs ready and to go. That Omi is her mother, and so here is Laranga.
Thank you. Hi. Let's see. This is called Jesus Was Passing By, June 26th of 2000. I went to church on Sunday to worship with my family. I was feeling kind of worn from this old world and its sin. Then Jesus spoke so softly. He said, "My child, I'm passing by. I'll take care of you now. I hear your every cry." Then I looked straight ahead as I saw a great sight. My Savior was coming, and though he stopped right before my eyes, he took, I am so sorry, he took my wounded heart. He said, "Child, go pray." And he touched me, and I heard him say, Jesus was passing by one day. He, he stopped so sweetly and he said, "Don't forget to pray. I'm so glad I'm in God's family. He'll do the same for you. He died for all on Calvary." I'm sorry I couldn't read this because it was Mom's very first rendition of it, and I'm sure it'll be typed up somewhere. But that is her handwriting.
That's why you can't read it. It's not in your dad's handwriting.
Well, it's Mom's. and and written by inspired by the Holy Spirit, written by Alma Shepherd. That was 6/26 of 2000.
Well, you told me that your dad used to copy her songs for.
He did. Well, this is her writing. Though.
I know.
Yeah. And I typed a whole lot of them out, but this was one that I didn't know.
Says the person that you can't read. I can't even read my own handwriting.
I know you can't.
You took. Be careful
sorry.
with those glasses.
They're no, broke. Those are your good ones.
I know, but these are broke.
Oh, okay.
These are the ones I use. They're
okay.
The 1.5s, I think. Who knows? Now that I have cataract surgery, I don't know whether to wear glasses or not. I can't see.
He can't make his mind up.
I can't see either way. It ringed my eyes one,
yeah, it did.
One way or the other.
He done better. He done better with the cataracts.
Okay.
Are you starting or me?
I'm starting.
Okay.
We are in my mother's book, The Secret of Happiness, My Journey by Adele Tarter Ball.
Mom Ball.
We're on page 98. We're in chapter 1 of section part 2, Life Experiences.
Bailey said hi.
No, she didn't. She said, "Hey."
Oh, I haven't got glasses.
Hey, friends, love you.
Love you, Bailey.
You gods.
You guys.
Gods.
Gods.
Capital G. Wow.
Oh.
They better not let you give us that promotion.
No.
That didn't go well with Herodias.
Herodias.
The second.
You were talking about Herodias tonight.
And the people told him he was like a god, a little G, and God struck him down dead. Worms. He was eaten up with worms.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So we don't want that.
No.
But thank you. I know what
I think she meant guys.
Yes, she
what
meant
she
guys.
Said.
I meant guys. Sorry. ADHD took over.
ADHD.
Okay. It's probably spelled correct.
Probably.
Yeah. It was the bot, the AI.
The AI spelled it wrong.
Unintentionally.
Yes.
Okay, so on page 98, chapter 1, section 2, Life Experiences is where we left off. We left off in the middle of the chapter last time, sorry. Yeah. Another cliffhanger. But we did so because this is a little longer chapter. Yeah. I guess we could have finished it, but...
I don't know, it's a long chapter.
We did a lot of things for entertainment. We had a level front yard in the summer. We played croquet on Sunday afternoons, and when my brother and sister brought their family from vacation. We did that. We had a croquet set and we played croquet
Love
in our front yard.
croquet. I love
My
croquet.
Aunt Hazel and Uncle Leonard actually uh, um, uh, did a croquet yard in their backyard. They removed
Wow.
all of the sod and made a dirt croquet yard in their backyard.
Wow.
So it was something that both sides of the family
Yeah, I
actually
love
loved.
that.
And so
I still love it. I wouldn't care for us to have a
that was
croquet
my
set.
dad's sister.
Yeah.
So every year we went to the decoration of the 30th of May. It was called the decoration because on Memorial Day, people would gather at the National Cemetery to decorate the graves with flowers and honor the fallen war veterans. There were speeches and a parade. The entire community gathered each year for this festival event. We look forward to the decoration for a month. We got new dresses and shoes. Saw our friends, and there were stands there. We could buy treats. And the way they explained it to me, whenever I was young, they still had a parade. I marched in it a couple of times with Cub Scouts. We had a banner and that sort of thing. And I remember the congressman, which he's been in there so long. I'm trying to. He didn't get voted out, but anyway, he usually gives a speech. But the way they talked, it was more like what they do for like the Summerfest or for Spoon Bread Festival, those kind of things. It was like people. It was a market and a little festival, and so the streets would be lined with. In Nancy,
vendors.
80 Highway would be lined with it probably looked like the 914 yard sale.
I love it.
And so most people don't realize that. She's not going into detail, but from what I'm wanting to add things that I remember them talking about.
Right.
And so we have croquet and play it with the grands. Yeah. Dad would always try to knock somebody all the way to the opposite corner of the croquet yard. We'd hit them. If you hit them, you got two strokes. You could knock them to the catty corner of the croquet yard and then go on from where you're at.
I love that. I want to play croquet.
So in the summer, we went to the RECC meeting.
We did too.
Farm Bureau meeting, the Cow Day home show, and country singing revivals in other churches, and the Russell County Fair. Wonder why not the Pulaski County Fair?
I don't know.
It may have been closer. We would take a covered dish or two to the Farm Bureau meeting and have a potluck meal. Russell County Fair was the only place we went that charged an admission. And I've been to the, I don't remember going to RECC, I guess I do, because Mom would always get a bucket of light bulbs.
Light bulbs, yeah,
you get
always,
a 5-gallon
every year.
bucket of light bulbs. I don't remember, did you have to bring the 5-gallon bucket?
No, it wasn't 5-gallon, it was a mop bucket. And they'd fill it up with light bulbs. It wasn't 5 gallons, it was a mop bucket.
No, they would give
ours was mop bucket.
Yeah, they would give you a 5-gallon bucket of light bulbs.
Well, we got light bulbs every year.
And
That's
from
cool.
what I understand,
They gave you the bucket too.
And now the Farm Bureau picnic, I don't remember where that was. I'm sure I probably went to it. There were always neighbors and relatives visiting. Almost every day there were visitors, and if they were there during mealtime, we sat at an extra place for them. I remember I used to watch people come down Amy Lane and hoping, oh, please turn this way. And then they turn this way and I'd get all excited. Yay! And I'd run out to meet them, and then they'd drive by the house.
Oh!
Visitors was our entertainment, yes. A lot of family came for Christmas. I remember there were 22 that spent the night one year.
Wow.
I slept between my older sister and sister-in-law. All the boys were sleeping in the boys' room. I heard them laughing, and the next morning, that when someone went to sleep, they would lay him out in the floor and take his bed. We had a good old time, and that were a blessing to me. And now I have memory. Well, we showed you last time the picture of mom and dad's house, or grandma and grandpa's house,
Yeah.
and it kind of looks like um, the Waltons' house.
It does.
And what it was the mom and dad, grandma and grandpa's bedroom was on the first floor. I don't remember it. I never went through it, but I heard them talking about it. And then there were two rooms upstairs, and one was a boy's bedroom and one was a girl's bedroom.
Like Waltons.
And since they had 15, the probably not all those were at home at any given time. Probably 10 were at home. That was the most probably at any given time. That there'd be 5 girls. Well, there's only 5 girls altogether, but anyway, there'd be so it's not actually fair on the boys, but so you'd have 2 girls and eight guys
boys.
or something like that, and so or 3 girls and eight guys or 7 guys, something like that, and so they would sleep in other rooms. But anyway, and mom would talk about having feather beds, and that it would get so cold at night they'd sleep between feather beds is how they kept warm.
Wow.
But anyway,
wow.
I was very shy, not around family, but strangers or people I hadn't been around. I had low self-esteem. I worried a lot. I was mainly afraid my mother would die. She was 42 years old when I was born.
Oh.
I guess I thought she was old. I was especially afraid of the dark. This continues until I was about 10 years old. So I won't comment as to why I think that she was worried all the time or had low self-esteem. But anyway, it was kind of like some people we know, the family, there was family members that was all, every time they were around, she would get nervous and they seemed to bring her down and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And cause her stress. And so
I
guess we have those in every family.
But, absolutely.
So I don't know the truths. I didn't know the truths of the Bible.
Somebody else said something.
Terry Warren said we had croquet and I played with the grands. I read it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say. I thought that was your mom that said that.
No.
Oh, hi Terry. I didn't even know she was watching.
Well, Dad would play with the grandkids croquet.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
We got videos and pictures of that.
Yeah, yes. Dad Ball always played with them.
Yeah. I didn't know the truths of the Bible. God was right there. I could have asked him to take away my fear, worry, shyness, and low self-esteem. I just didn't know I could. I'm thankful that I know how to take all of these things to God, and he can take them away. He has taken away my worry, fears, imitation, shyness, and low self-esteem. Okay. When I was growing up, most of my brothers and dad drank alcohol. Most of my sisters married men that drank alcohol. Some were alcoholics. I was the heartache, disharmony in the home, and divorce. I saw the heartache, disharmony in the home, and divorce. I pursued in my heart at a very early age, probably 10 years old, that I was not going to date or marry a man that drank alcohol. Also, he would be a Christian and go to church with me. Elaine said we played croquet growing up till I hit a couple of people in the head on accident. My bad. With the ball or the mallet?
I would say the ball.
I would say the mallet. Let's see. During my teen years, I enjoyed high school. I made friends and wasn't as timid. My self-esteem improved. I liked all my teachers, and one of them was Mrs. Muse. She was actually my teacher. My mom's, my dad's, my sister, and my teacher. That's how
Wow.
old she was.
She was an
Mom,
oldie.
Mom told me how to get on her good side the first day. She said, "Go in and ask her, are you like 14 years old?" Because she was a leap year baby.
Oh.
Well, so I was actually asking her if she was 98. I didn't want to make it too bad, too young, but anyway, she loved me from that moment on, even though everybody couldn't stand her. In fact, she gave Dad his only B, and he was valedictorian.
Wow.
She didn't like that.
Oh no.
Oh, as I look back, I can see that God was there. I remember boys that were worldly and wild who would ask to take me home. One was a popular boy who was a star basketball player. I told him no. Others wanted to know why I wouldn't go out with them. I was strong and didn't give in. I have good memories of high school. That's sure he said it. Enjoyed. Okay. All of my older brothers and sisters had left home, and my mom and dad bought a new car. As soon as I had my driver's license, mom and dad let me drive that new car to high school.
Wow.
No one drove to school then. We're talking like 1952. Well, 51. 1951. I took my two younger brothers too. This was a great blessing. Neither mom nor dad could drive.
But they bought a new car?
Yes. I also drove the large two-ton truck and took Dad to the mill and other places.
That's so funny.
She talks about driving on Slate Branch Road, and there's a bad curve there, and she learned how to. She would tell me, slow down as you go into the curve, and then when you get in the curve, gun it to get out of the curve.
Gun it.
And she said she almost went in the ditch if she hadn't gunned it, but anyway. The stories I have in addition to this.
Yes, exactly.
Arvis was in my class starting in high school, and we were attracted to each other. The thing that attracted me the most was the fact he hated alcohol as much as I did, and he regularly attended church. We fell in love and were married after we graduated from high school. Aww.
That's so sweet.
Childhood, high school
High
sweethearts.
school sweethearts.
We moved to Dayton, Ohio.
Oh my.
and both got jobs.
Big city.
Since the hours of my job were 12 noon to 8 p.m., he took a part-time job as in a service station after his 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift at Delco Products. I remember telling him I saw him more before we got married. And we talked about this, that I see this with Braden. Him and his girlfriend see each other all the time. But he wants to get a job so he can take care of her, and then she's going to feel like, I don't ever see you. I saw you all the time when we were dating. Well, it's because the man feels like he has to take care of his wife. And so
that's right.
You have to take that in consideration. Another story here is that the dad had worked in a service station here for his uncle in West Somerset. And so he had experience working in the service station, but also they didn't have a job when they went up there. They just piled everything in a truck, in a car that Dad had bought. He bought a 49 Ford with the strawberry money that he had made, and which was a lot of money back then for what you can make big money raising strawberries back then. So they had like a few $1,000s. He bought a 49 Ford, and which was like 4 years old. And,
wow.
And drove it up there with all their stuff. and they didn't know anything. They went to church, and there was a guy at church that worked at Delco and got him on. He said that they love the Kentucky boys because they knew they were hard workers from working in the farm,
yeah.
and so it was easy to get a job up there if they found out you were off the farm in Kentucky. And so that's why we had a great departure. All that whole generation went up there.
Right.
You know, a lot of my uncles, mom's brothers and sisters lived up there, and so we lost, you know, a whole generation because of that. My mom and dad lived in Dayton, and dad worked at Delco.
What about that?
In 1953, 4, 5, something like that.
Wow. Well, you know, I was going to ask Terry, my cousin Terry's on here with us tonight. I think that her mom and my mom and their whole family moved to Indiana for Papa Burns to work.
Right.
That people from Kentucky went up north.
Well, my dad's sister went to Indianapolis. Yes, that was what happened. We lost all of our population because they went to Indiana and Ohio to work. Yep. And so I noticed, you know, that was you see that in Hillbilly Elegy with you know, J.D. Vance. His family went from Jackson to
Jackson County,
Middletown, Ohio, which is basically Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But I'm sure most young girls think like this. I'm glad we were mature enough to realize that is the way things are in the real world. That was another time that God was with us and led us. So you wonder why this is called the Waycast and what this has to do with the Waycast is
Way to a Great Marriage Cast.
Way to a Great Marriage Cast. What did I say? The Waycast.
Yeah.
We attended church but didn't join. Most of the people I worked with were unkind. Some made fun of my Kentucky accent. One older lady was very nice to me. She talked to me and was good to me. I was laid off after 6 months. Jobs were hard to find then too, and probably for her they were because you know as a woman there wasn't much choices. Secretaries or
factory work
or stuff like that. No,
my mom worked in a factory.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, in Chicago.
Does mom tell what she did? Let's see. No, she didn't tell what she did. Okay. Soon I found a job at a dairy. It was a good job and I liked it, but it was located in a bad neighborhood. I rode the bus and felt unsafe. I worked there 3 to 4 months and we decided to move back to Kentucky. It was my idea to move back. I was homesick. Okay. I thought that she worked at the telephone company and she found out that they were pregnant with Sissy. Maybe they went back up there another time. Let me keep reading, I guess.
Keep reading.
We moved into the house with Arvis's parents and they were happy to have us. His mom, my grandmother had some apron strings with my dad, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Arvis got a job working in a service station for my brother, and I got a job at Newberry, and that was a five and dime store.
I love Newberry's.
J.J. Newberry. Oh, it was
I love
like
Newberry's.
It was like a national chain.
Was.
Okay. So actually, I guess Dad's job at the service station was after they came back. Maybe this is they go back up there. After about 10 months, we decided to go back to Dayton. There we go. Moving wasn't difficult in those days as we could get everything we owned in the car.
Yeah.
Probably in one suitcase. Well, anyway, but two suitcases. 2 for her, and he just hung up his clothes. Yeah, an extra shirt.
Yeah.
I worked at Malone's camera shop as a receptionist, and Arvis bought a dump truck from my brother-in-law and became a independent hauler. That's actually uh, James Herbert Davenport was the brother-in-law he bought it from.
Oh.
Jim was his wife called him Jim, but everybody called him James Herbert.
Oh.
Not Jim. No, that's the nephew. It was James Herbert's dad. What was his name anyway? I had 15. I had 30 people's names on mom's side to remember their names. There's a few there that I don't remember their names. I know it's like initials.
Yeah.
But he stayed in Dayton that time about 10 months. We stayed in Dayton that time for about 10 months. During this time, I became pregnant with our first child, Sandra.
Sissy.
Arvis was called to be examined for the Army service to serve in the Korean War.
Oh.
We decided we didn't want to raise our children in Dayton. There was a lot of racial trouble, and I heard
Sit down.
they were busing first graders to black schools, so we returned to Kentucky. Arvis was deferred from military service because of the law that was passed in 1956 to defer fathers. I remember during this time, I didn't worry about him leaving me and going into the service, another blessing from God. We bought the farm where we lived the rest of our lives. Arvis and his dad worked for about 3 months repairing and restoring the house. They placed new hardwood floors in wall coverings and new furniture. I remember Mom talking about that they had, I guess they had an estate sale after they bought it of the contents, and there was a hole there in the living room about where the window is, right in front of the window, and in the floor. And so she went in there and made sure nobody fell on the floor since they owned the house and they were selling the stuff in the house. So it was in pretty bad shape.
Yeah. You talking about the farmhouse?
I know everybody thinks that it's in bad shape now, but
it wasn't.
But it's not in any the way that it was when they bought it. So as I was young and wanted a lot of things for the house and clothes, I worried about what people said and thought about me. I was still timid and easily intimidated. I visited my parents about 3 times a week, and Arvis would go with me about once a week. Sandra was born, and we were so proud of her. We enjoyed her so much. We moved into our newly refurbished home when she was 6 weeks old.
Oh.
I still wasn't knowledgeable about the Bible. I don't remember reading the Bible myself. We went to Sunday school and church and other services at church. I thought I could handle things myself. I know I prayed, but I didn't know as much as I know about trusting God for all things and praying about everything. I didn't know Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 and 8. Ask and it shall be given you, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh, anyway, findeth, and he that knocketh it shall be opened unto him. I missed my friends from high school as they had moved away. Many of my family discouraged me about moving to Kentucky and living on a farm. I became discontented. This went on for a long time. You notice that some of my family.
Yeah. Some of my fam.
Wait, that's the reason that anyway.
Mentioning no names.
Yeah, there's some similarities here.
Yeah.
I still wanted to know God and to worship Him. To protect the innocent. And crucify the guilty.
I'll read a couple pages.
Okay. You
All
can read
right.
for a while.
I wanted to get a job outside of the home. Arvis and I had talked about it, and he pointed out the benefits of staying at home and raising Sandra. I could grow a garden, freeze fruits and vegetables. I could sew and make her clothes. In fact, I took a tailoring class and made clothes for Arvis and Tony. If I worked outside the home, I wouldn't have had as much time to cook, and I would need an extra car.
I hated the polyester suits that she made me. They itched me to death.
And she was so proud of them.
Yes, especially the yellow one for Easter.
That's fun. He worked at a public job and farmed. We grew beef cattle and had our own cattle butchered for beef. With all of this in mind, he said I would make more staying at home and I would be with Sandra too. I agreed. I love to work in the garden, freeze and take care of the lawn and sew. It's always been quiet and peaceful here. I learned to be content in Philippians 4:11. Paul told the Philippians that he had learned whatsoever state he was, he would be content. I now see it was God's will for me to stay at home and not work outside the home. Like my mother taught me from Titus 2:3, the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior and become holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober. Teach them to love their husbands, love their children, be discreet, keepers of the home, chaste, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. Emphasis, mine. I could be with Sandra. I could help her memorize the books of the New Testament when she was 2.5. Back then, Vacation Bible School was held during the morning. I started teaching and took Sandra and a carload of our neighbor kids. We didn't have a church van, and one of the ladies in the church told me she wouldn't haul the children like that. She would be afraid of getting sued if she had an accident. So I hauled the children to VBS, to Sunday school, and to church for 20 or more years until we got a church van. I never had a problem. God looked after me. Sandra got saved when she was just 9 years old in VBS.
Hey, Miki, 192.
Hi.
She said, pray hand, pray hand, pray hand.
Pray hand, pray hand. I was at home to take Sandra to piano lessons. I was her 4-H leader, and she won at the county, won at the district, and went to state fair when she demonstrated making milk drinks. This was such an exciting time and a happy time. We raised beans and sold them as a 4-H project, and she still talks about me telling her to give good measure as she sold them. She helped me freeze about 50 apple pies as a 4-H project. No wonder her husband now calls her the queen of freezing food. She had a bulletin board about 40x40 covered with mostly championship blue ribbons.
Is it still up there?
I think so.
I think it's behind the door
Yeah, I think
upstairs
so.
in her bedroom.
Yeah. We canned fruit and vegetables to enter in the county fair. I gave her the money she won at the fair, also from the sale of the beans. I was there to cheer her on in each project. Those are great memories for me.
You should go up there and read the labels on all the ribbons.
Well, now, if you're just joining us, we're reading a book from Tony's mother, Adele Tarter Ball, The Secret of Happiness, My Journey. And I'll show it again just in case anybody new is on. Okay.
You lost your place?
Yep, she still talks about me telling her to give good measure. She helped me freeze 50 apple pies. She had a bulletin board 40x40 covered with mostly championship and blue ribbons. We canned fruits and vegetables and entered in the county fair. I gave her the money she wanted at the fair and also from the sale of the beans. I was there to cheer her on in each project. Those are great memories for me. In 1964, both of my parents became very ill. My mom had a stroke and was in a coma for a month. My dad had prostate cancer. Two of my sisters, I stayed with mom around the clock. I stayed every other night for a month. I remember feeling so stressed and worried about my parents. I prayed a lot for them, but I don't remember asking God to help me. He could help me not to be stressed and worried. He could help me and strengthen me emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and He could lead me into know what to do. The Bible says if you ask not, you receive not. So she learned that she needed to ask God for help. Mom started getting better and better after about a month. She came out of the coma. We exercised every joint in her body, and she got able to use them and walk by the time she went home from the hospital. And Dad was admitted. In our large family, everyone seemed to have a different opinion on how things should be done. A lot of the times when I did these things, I was criticized. Do you want me to continue?
I'm
Okay.
laughing. That's probably the same in every family too.
Oh,
You know, the ones who are out of town, up in Dayton, you know,
Yep.
they try to, what they want to tell you how to do. I thank God for my sister. She was very good about those things.
yeah.
And so which one are we on?
The other one. I just turned the page.
Okay. Well, it's about that time again.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Well-
give them another cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. That was about the country fair.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we'll continue on with that tomorrow night. And you ask, well, what in the world has Tony's mom's book got to do with the Way to a Great Marriage cast? Well, she talks about her childhood, her mom and dad, her grandparents. All of them had lives together and different types of marriages. You know, back then they were farmers and you know had to do all that, and it was a different way of life than we are now. So, but it teaches us as the up and coming older people that we will be, that we're supposed to pass on our knowledge and try to help those younger than us. If they'll listen, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. So Mom Ball's book helps us to know what she did in certain situations. So it really helps in marriage.
Power on.
Bailey says, not the cliffhangers.
The cliffhangers, Bailey.
Bluetooth connected.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
What the world's going on?
What the world's going on over
What
there?
the world?
And so we encourage you. We want you to like. There's looks like we have a 3 for 3.
Yay!
Looks like all 3 of you that commented liked. So we appreciate your
Yes,
likes.
we do.
Everybody else follow suit.
Please.
And follow their example by making comments and asking questions. If you missed the live feed, come along and make the comment or question down below, and we'll address those comments and questions on the next Way to a Great Marriage cast.
Yes.
And so then subscribe. We ask that you not only subscribe here on YouTube, but go over to Rumble.
Who's ready to rumble? So sorry. I can't help but say that.
If you could just do it like he does.
I can't do it like
Who's ready to rumble? Anyway, okay.
All right.
And so go over to Rumble, find the Way cast. It's all one word over there, or in here, just like it is here, and follow us over there. Or you can search for Tony Ball. If you can't find Tony Ball or the Way cast, comment that you can't find it, and I'll comment back the link. But I'm not going to do that tonight if I don't have to. I did that for Bailey one night. If you go
Oh.
back, God loves, God love. I just love you all. She said no to the cliffhangers. But anyway.
Okay.
No. And so then also share. Annabelle moved the cord.
She did. Annabelle moved the cord.
Pulled on the cord. And so share. I've got Against All Odds pinned to the top of the Waycast, pinned to the top of the channel. I encourage you to share that with anybody that you know that doesn't know Jesus as a
Yes.
personal Savior. Send it to them and beg them to watch it, but pray for them before that you send it so that they may be receptive to watching
Yes.
it in its entirety. Then hit the ding-a-ling in your life so that you can come on and harass us live. We were talking about earlier, we didn't make it tonight, we were delayed, but trying to make it where that we were on like at 10 o'clock every night or something like that, so that you'll know
Yes.
like
10 is a good time.
like a TV series that you're missing us. But, then seems like I'm missing something.
No. Share.
Yes, share.
Share.
No, I already did share.
Oh, you did?
Okay, I think that's it.
We did them all.
Did we do everything? I hope so.
I hope so.
If we didn't, we'll do it next time. So with that, we say, whoops, it went away.
We say,
oh.
Until we meet again. Adios, au revoir, have been a friend till then.
And oh, it's always sweet sorrow to part.
Sing it, Annabelle.
You know you'll always remain in my heart. Good night, sleep tight, oh that's the best of life. There's a wish and a prayer that every week
Comes through.
and now till we meet again. Adios, au revoir, love in us. Good night.
we love you.
And don't ever forget, you are truly loved. And with that, we say good night.
Friends, there you have our show. Hit